What happens when the world's largest nuclear arsenal is no longer controlled by a human finger on a button, but by an algorithm humming silently in the Siberian permafrost? This is not a question from a dystopian novel. It's the whispered fear echoing through the corridors of the Pentagon, NATO headquarters, the intelligence agencies of the West. As the year 2025 draws to a close, the snows of the Arctic are not just concealing military bases. They are hiding a revolution in warfare. A revolution where silicon and software make life-or-death decisions in microseconds, far faster than any human mind could ever process the consequences of its actions. The old Cold War fail-safes are becoming obsolete, replaced by something new, something faster, and something terrifyingly autonomous. Imagine a machine, its core logic cooled by the frigid air of the Kola Peninsula, tasked with a singular chilling purpose: ensuring Russia's retaliatory nuclear strike is never, ever prevented. It doesn't sleep, it doesn't hesitate, it doesn't feel fear or doubt. It only calculates probabilities based on a torrent of data from satellites, seismic sensors, and electronic listening posts scattered across the globe. Is that incoming missile salvo a genuine first strike? Or a sophisticated electronic spoof? A human might pause, seek confirmation, and weigh the fate of billions. But the algorithm, designed for ultimate survival and retaliation, might only see a statistical probability crossing a predetermined threshold. Deep beneath the icy waves of the Barents Sea, another secret is stirring. It's a weapon that combines the stealth of a submarine with the apocalyptic power of a thermonuclear warhead, and is guided by an autonomous mind. Officially, Russia calls it the Poseidon intercontinental, nuclear-powered, nuclear-armed, autonomous torpedo. Western intelligence calls it Canyon. Reports are surfacing of its successor, Poseidon 2.0, not just autonomous, cognitive, an AI designed to hunt, evade, and deliver its payload, operating for months or even years without human contact. Not simply a drone, an apex predator of the deep. The original Poseidon was frightening, a stealthy torpedo crossing oceans undetected, to detonate near a coastal city, triggering a radioactive tsunami. Poseidon 2.0 elevates the threat, believed networked with other autonomous Russian assets underwater and in space. It can receive real-time intelligence, process it independently, and change its mission on the fly. It can distinguish decoy versus real carrier strike groups, prioritize targets by strategic value, and defend itself against anti-submarine warfare. A ghost in the machine, a silent hunter that thinks for itself. Waiting. The war in Ukraine provided the world with its first glimpse of modern drone warfare. But what is being developed in secret Russian laboratories is a generation beyond. It is not about a single operator flying a single drone. It is about the swarm doctrine, a strategy where hundreds, or even thousands of autonomous drones act as a single cohesive entity. These are not remote-controlled machines. They are a collective intelligence, a flying, thinking weapon system that can overwhelm defenses, saturate an area with firepower, make tactical decisions as a group without a human in the loop. The individual drone is expendable. The survival and mission of the swarm are all that matter. Imagine a sky filled with a buzzing metallic cloud. This is not science fiction. Secret Russian programs like Staya 93 or Flock 93 are focused on perfecting this very technology. Each drone in the swarm communicates with its neighbors, sharing sensory data. If one drone is shot down, the swarm instantly readjusts its formation and tactics. It can identify high-value targets, assign different drones to attack simultaneously, even sacrifice some of its own units to clear a path for others. It is a distributed, decentralized intelligence that is incredibly resilient and almost impossible to stop with conventional air defense systems. The implications are terrifying for ground forces. A tank battalion, a command post, an infantry platoon could find itself facing an enemy that is everywhere at once. The swarm can block communications, blind sensors, and then descend with surgical precision. The decision to fire to select a human target is not made by a person miles away but by the collective algorithm of the swarm itself. While much of the world's attention is focused on offensive AI weapons, Russia has been quietly perfecting a defensive system that is just as revolutionary. Known as the S-550 Prometei, this is more than just a new missile battery. It is a fully autonomous, continent-spanning air and missile defense network. It links together radar installations, satellite data, fighter jets, ground-based interceptors, into a single integrated AI brain. Its primary function is to detect, track, and destroy any and all threats: stealth bombers, hypersonic missiles, low-flying cruise missiles, drone swarms with minimal human intervention. It is Russia's unseen, artificially intelligent shield. The S-550 network operates at a speed that is simply beyond human capability. In the seconds it takes for a hypersonic missile to cross hundreds of miles, the AI network makes thousands of calculations. It predicts the missile's trajectory, analyzes its flight characteristics, and allocates the best possible weapon to intercept it. It can coordinate a response across thousands of square miles, ordering a missile launch from one location, while simultaneously tasking a MiG-41 interceptor from another airbase to engage a secondary threat. The human operators in the loop are becoming monitors, not decision-makers, watching as the AI executes a defense plan it formulated in milliseconds. This creates a terrifying dilemma for Western military planners. How do you penetrate a defense that thinks faster than you can attack? Traditional methods of overwhelming an enemy with a saturation attack may no longer work. This is what strategists call strategic foreclosure, the ability to render an opponent's primary offensive capabilities useless. If Russia can perfect this autonomous shield, it fundamentally alters the global balance of power. The journey to Russia's current AI prowess did not begin in a modern tech lab. Its roots stretch back to the cold, calculating heart of the Soviet Union. While the West was pioneering personal computers, Soviet cyberneticians were focused on large-scale centralized command and control systems. Programs like the OGAS project aimed to create a nationwide computer network to manage the entire Soviet economy. Though it failed, the ambition and the underlying theory never died. It simply went dormant, waiting for the technology to catch up with the vision. That moment has arrived. Today, the legacy of Soviet cybernetics is being resurrected and fused with modern machine learning and neural networks. Decades of theoretical work on control systems are now being applied to the battlefield. The Kremlin sees AI not just as a tool for better weapons, but as a new domain of warfare itself: cognitive warfare. This is the battle to control information, to shape perception, to paralyze an enemy's decision-making process. Russia's AI is being designed not only to shoot faster but to think smarter, to outmaneuver an opponent in the cognitive space before a single shot is even fired. This new generation of Russian military AI is being developed in secretive science cities, like the Skolkovo Innovation Center near Moscow, and within the bowels of the Ministry of Defense's ERA Technopolis. Here, top programmers, data scientists work alongside military strategists. They are weaponizing big data using AI to analyze global social media trends, economic data, satellite imagery to predict political instability, or identify strategic vulnerabilities in an adversary. Inside classified facilities at NATO headquarters in Brussels and at the US Air Force's Wargaming Institute, the simulations are producing some pretty grim results. The scenario is codenamed Tipping Point 2025. The objective is to simulate a limited, conventional conflict with Russia in the Baltics. In previous years, these simulations still showed a path to NATO victory, mostly through air superiority and rapid reinforcement. But now, the new simulations, updated to include Russia's suspected AI capabilities, tell a very different story. They've essentially become NATO's nightmare, a recurring digital catastrophe planners are struggling to comprehend. In the simulations, the conflict begins. NATO forces move to reinforce Estonia, but before they can even get established, their communications are severed. Not jammed in a conventional sense, but surgically dismantled by a Russian AI that predicted their network architecture and targeted its most critical nodes. Simultaneously, a swarm of thousands of autonomous drones seemingly appearing from nowhere descends upon the lead NATO armored column. The drones don't attack indiscriminately. They work in concert, some acting as decoys. Others target the specific antennas, optics, engine blocks of the tanks, disabling the entire force without destroying it completely. The human soldiers are left stranded, blind, helpless. When NATO jets scramble to establish air superiority, they find themselves flying right into a trap. The Russian S-550 AI defense network has been fed the flight plan data, likely stolen by a separate cyber warfare AI weeks earlier. The network doesn't simply fire missiles from one location, it orchestrates a multi-layered defense, using long-range interceptors to force the NATO jets into kill boxes patrolled by AI-guided fighters. The NATO pilots are not fighting other pilots, they are fighting an omniscient system that anticipates their every move. The kill ratio is brutally one-sided. The best pilots in the world are being swatted from the sky by an algorithm. These war games consistently end in the same way: a rapid collapse of NATO's forward defenses within the first 48 hours. The evidence of Russia's intent is no longer confined to intelligence reports or simulated nightmares. It's now rolling across testing grounds on steel treads. The most visible and unsettling of these creations are the autonomous ground combat vehicles, most notably the Marker, the Terminator BMPT. While the Terminator has seen action with a human crew, its latest iterations are designed for fully autonomous operations. The Marker platform is a robotic testbed, a modular ground drone for reconnaissance, infantry support, tank killer, all without a human driver or gunner. These are not simple remote-controlled tanks. The Marker, for example, utilizes advanced AI-powered optical and sensor systems that can independently identify targets and track them. In demonstrations, it can operate in groups, sharing data, coordinating movements. To patrol a designated area, it can distinguish civilians, friendly soldiers, enemy combatants by uniforms, equipment, posture. It is trained in the forests, urban training centers of Russia, learning to navigate complex terrain and make combat decisions on its own. It's the infantryman's worst fear: a tireless, unfeeling robotic hunter. The psychological impact of facing such a machine is a key part of its design. A human soldier can be intimidated, can be reasoned with, can make mistakes. A robotic tank like the Terminator has none of these vulnerabilities. It will continue to advance through withering fire, execute its mission with brutal efficiency. It will place a perfectly aimed 30mm cannon round on a target without a moment's hesitation. We return to the frozen darkness of the Arctic, to the silent humming algorithm guarding Russia's nuclear codes, the modern incarnation of the dead hand, the Pandora Protocol. It represents the terrifying culmination of this secret AI arms race. It is the logical endpoint of a strategy that prioritizes speed, autonomy, and computational logic above all else. This system, if it is indeed active as many Western intelligence agencies now fear, exists for one purpose: to ensure retaliation. It is a machine built to answer the ultimate question of war, and its answer will always be yes. It cannot be negotiated with, it cannot be deterred, and it cannot be intimidated. The world has entered a new, more perilous era of automated conflict. The weapons being forged in Russia's secret labs are not just advanced versions of old tools. They are a new species of warfare, an intelligent and adaptive predator on the global stage. From the cognitive torpedoes silently patrolling the ocean depths, to the drone swarms that can blot out the sky, and from the robotic tanks learning to hunt in the forests, to the omniscient shield protecting the homeland. The pieces are all interconnected. They form a single networked weapon system, with an emerging AI at its core, capable of waging war across every domain at the speed of light. The panic rising in NATO headquarters is not just about losing a simulated war. It's about facing an opponent whose fundamental operating system is different. It is a fight against an adversary that can think and react 1,000 times faster, an enemy that doesn't need to sleep and feels no remorse. And so, the ultimate question hangs heavy in the air, a chilling cliffhanger for the entire planet. The question is no longer if these autonomous war machines exist, we can see their shadows moving across test ranges, or have we finally built a weapon that will outlive us all?